out there. How are you? How was your day? How was your night? Welcome again to my YouTube channel. This is Daniel the Steward. I'm happy once again to come again live through this YouTube channel. I thank you for subscribing and also for visiting. Doing my best to make sure that I reach out to you guys, to speak to you pertaining different things, and also to share my thoughts on anything, my choice, which I think is of general importance to the society transformation. So on this side of the world, it is summer. It is quite very hot. We are getting used. We thank God for that. So today I want us to discuss in a short time about something which is affecting all of us. Doesn't matter where you are, which country you come from, is something which it has affected you in a way. I know that maybe you have ever become a victim of mob justice. Either your relative has ever become a victim of mob justice, or you have ever participated in administering mob justice, or your relative has ever been involved in the incident of mob justice, or you yourself, you have ever witnessed an incident of mob justice, either as a perpetrator or as a victim. So it is something which has affected all of us. Allow me to start by saying that to describe the mob justice is complete only when justice has been pursued by a group of people outside the law. So that's the description which I give it. Then this description isolates who can commit the mob justice. Mob justice could involve members of general public who take law on their hands and execute people who go against the norms of the society or a certain group of people. So they choose to execute justice to that person. It can also be the state organs, like the police. The police can also be at times become mob justice when they choose to go outside the legal provisions in pursuit to justice, when they go beyond the duty and do things contrary to the existing law that guides the way for the freedom and for the same justice, and by doing so they kill or they instill fear and pain or beating, is mob justice. When members of the general society execute mob justice, they feel that what they are doing is legitimately. Just the same when the state agents go beyond the law and do things which are not lawful, they engage in mob justice, but they may think that whatever they are doing is legitimate, which is not. Just like on the side of the general public. Then allow me say that mob justice is not something which started yesterday. Mob justice has been here. It is as old as human civilization. From the Old Testament, we can see in the Jewish culture, mob justice was there. People were executed justice through the mob system. Mob justice got many demerits, which we shall see as we continue. We also see mob justice in the general history. in personal level and even in broad level. Then let me mention some of the motivators of mob justice. There is what we call religious motivators for mob justice. The most broad in the history it was the Holocaust. The Holocaust was being administered by the Germans, the Nazi. It was an aim to exterminate the Jews. The notion was that the Jews took part in killing Jesus. But the whole thing was political agenda, which brought about war, the Second World War, and it saw killing of many Jews. There was no law which said that they should be killed. They were killed because it was like a punishment. That is in a large scale, maiming and killing of people without lawful grounds to do that. The mob justice, where the killing of many people by the mob could also be motivated by ethnic motivation. The historical Rwanda genocide is an example where the killing of Hutu and Tutsis in Rwanda was motivated, but there was political propeller which was behind these killings. So there are many other drivers which would also drive mob justice. But let me say that mob justice is a crime in all nations and it is punishable by law in all countries. There is no country that allows mob justice to be the story of the day because of some reasons. Number one, mob justice disregards the rule of law. Whether the state organs like the police decide to go beyond the law and kill a suspect without hearing, that person dies in pain and they could be innocent. So it disregards the rule of and the application of equality in the laws which pertain justice. So under that argument, no country has already legalized mob justice. Number two, mob justice denies the suspects chance to be heard and to defend themselves, because mob justice is usually unpredictable. It is again spontaneous, where many people use force against a suspect without asking questions. In some cities, mostly in Africa, you just need to shout thief. Then the society, everybody will now just turn on that person and end up killing that person, maybe through stoning, without hearing them or asking what happened or something. It is an disorganized way to break the law in the name of your administering justice. So let me talk about some of the reasons which are used by perpetrators of the mob justice. Members of the general public who perpetrated this crime, they say that when the people who do contrary to the existing standards of morality within the society, they are taken to the legal framework to handle those cases. Justice is never given, such that if someone kills someone in the society and they go through the judicial system, they will soon, through corruption, failed governance, failed legal framework, they will still be released back again to the society. So under that argument, mob justice will look like the most favorable, the permanent solution. to the problem, but we cannot run away from the previous reasons which I gave about opportunity to be had and also space for correction. What are some of the methods which people, the suspects, are killed, used? One of the famous methods is necklacing, particularly for robbery with violence, murder, and rape. And in some communities, there's what we call witchcraft. And even before I discuss these things, you'll discover most of the people who find themselves fall victims of mob justice, mostly they are men, young men, not old. Young men between the age of 20 and 32. The larger percentage of the people who are killed are within that bracket. Then for witchcraft, that one mostly falls to the older women, and mostly they are judged by how they look. If they look so old and their dressing is tattered, then they, due to age, they cannot express themselves well, and most of the time they are widows. They don't have somebody to protect them. In most societies, those old women are fallen as victims of mob justice when they are killed as witches and their house is burned. So those are the brackets of the people. The young men between 20 and 32 years or slightly higher, and the old women who are vulnerable, the poor mostly. So one thing which will increase the cases of mob justice is socioeconomic disorders. When there is a large gap between the rich and the poor, then expect that there will be more cases of mob justice, and the poor are susceptible to it. When the government fails to put in place good economic policies to ensure that the young people are taken care of, these young people will end up in drug abuse. They will lack jobs, and then they will end up in town, or even they will start theft in the village. And because the society is insecure, they will end up killing these young people between that age before they get life direction. So when these cases go up, it is a sign that the government is falling. It's regrettable that even mob justice is coming down to the villages when it was most pronounced in the cities. So there is necklacing. Necklacing is that they use a tire and then they will use a petrol and burn. Those victims die in intense pain. In some other places they stoning to death. In those death scenes, you will find stones, some blunt objects which were used maybe to kill the perpetrators or the victims. In some other places, they do what we call lynching, where they hang and inflict pain. In most times when these methods are used, the dead bodies are usually found bound and with injuries from attacks from blunt objects. In some cases, there is also what we call, they strip them naked just to make sure that these people are ashamed. So they strip them of the clothes, then they beat them, public disgrace. So these are some of the methods which are used by the mob justice. Remember we said that mob justice is spontaneous. It means that it's not something which is planned. But there are those central perpetrators who convince the mob that this is the way to go. They know how to bring in materials. They know the reason. A lot of research has been done in this area. And mostly the central perpetrators, you can see them in the mask of the crime which the victim has fallen for. For instance, if it is which is being executed, you'll find that the people who are likely to lead the whole process are the witches themselves now, because they want to show self-defense. The thieves will quickly execute a fellow thief as a kind of public justification that they are clean. So they will man the whole process of killing of these people. A broader level of killings where many people like the police or the army is used to perpetrate mob justice are political reasons, where the upper class, they want to use the state organs so that the army or the police can inflict fear and pain to the general public. I will finish by saying that mob justice is unlawful. It denies the victims opportunity to defend themselves, since they are not given chance to defend themselves if they are innocent. It is again unlawful because the law does not provide room for it. Again, it deprives the victims the opportunity also for correction if they are wrong. The lead factor of it is not the perpetrator or the victim. It will fall on the leadership and the government, because it is the role of the government, the political class. It is their role to make sure that the judicial systems are straight, that they are working, such that the people will trust in these systems. There are countries where mob justice is a forgotten story. How do they do it? They strengthened their judicial systems such that there is justice in the courts. Number 2, economic freedom. Governments are doing a lot to make sure that the difference between the poor and the rich is reduced. When it is reduced, many young people will be able to acquire jobs and engage in lawful activities, such that nobody will be killed just because they were seeking for food or something. Number 3, there is need to engage the local communities on the dignity of human life. There is need for the police and the general public to have meetings and talk about this problem, and also to encourage the social cohesion in villages. There is need to build capacity such that it will be possible for the general public and the police also to learn the methods which they can approach in dealing with these problems, because it has seen deaths of many innocent people, or people who are to be corrected and be useful members of the society. It has affected you, it has affected me, so continue affecting everybody. It's something which we just need to change our thinking and see human beings as human beings, and know that people have only one chance to live, and everybody is a human. From that perspective, then we shall be able to think and come up with good systems. let the government also work to improve the lives of the people. When the people are angry and there is corruption and there is all kind of evil, these people tend to be violent. When the levels of poverty goes down, the levels of violence goes down. So all these things, they raise and rest on the arms of the government. But there is a need of understanding from the general public to change the perspective, to understand the deeper drivers, this vice, which has claimed the lives of the innocent women and innocent men, and also offend to correct some mistake which could be corrected. Thank you for listening to